along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learning to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer first. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace. Sing this song along with me. Just open up your heart. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learn that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learn to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer first. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace. Only one love, only love ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer first. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace.
Source of dead radiate, one golden night, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascade from down the mountain, calling the cheerings of earth, with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always leads me. The solution lies in our Lord. The solution lies in our Lord. For my mother Zephyrina harvest a wonderful blessing. Make yours, my son, a good Christian. Make yours, my son, a good Christian. Gray bushy beard, Santa look-alike, shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky, gray bushy beard, Santa look-alike, shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blessed are the Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Blessed are the Menezes, Apostle of the light, place our faith at the feet of Jesus Christ. Jesus, here I am, my knees on the floor, to say thank you, my Lord, for the light that comes through this door. Love is the key to change the entire world. Using these chains wisely, we will live in peace and harmony. Now I understand, helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, I'd like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to this time if possible. And our meeting will have 30 minutes presentation followed by questions and answer. Following the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We also invite you to follow us on Instagram and Facebook from Spiritism Canada and the Spiritism Group of Path of Life. And we also invite you because we have already on YouTube. Okay, so you can follow us, Spiritism Canada on YouTube. And now we are gonna do our opening prayer. So let's close our eyes and elevate our thought in God. Thank God for the opportunity to be here one more Tuesday. Thank for the good spirits, for the protection, for all the good things you have done for us. We ask you your blessing and for us and for our family, our friends, and for all the humanity. We would like to ask you, Master Jesus, to bless our friend Rodrigo, who is going to speak to us tonight. And thank you for everything you have done. And we ask your mercy and protection today and always. So be it. The topic of today's meeting is at chapter 2, My Kingdom is Not of This World, items 1 to 3, The Future Life. And it will be facilitated by our brother Rodrigo Villar from Winnipeg. Our meeting is being transmitted through Facebook and YouTube, and everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. So now we invite our friend Rodrigo. Welcome, Rodrigo.
Good evening. How are you, Marcel?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for staying here. And how is the cold in Winnipeg now?
It's warm, so it's close to zero. It's warm for Winnipeg standards.
So in London, I think we are colder than there in Winnipeg now.
See? Yeah, we're lucky to be in Winnipeg.
Okay,
So thank you for the kind introduction, Marcel. Okay. You already told the talk will be about the future life, and let's see what the gospel according to Spiritism has to teach us about that. So, as Marceli told us before, if you go to the Bible in John 18 to 33, 36, 37, you're going to find a very interesting passage that describes a dialogue between Pilate and Jesus. I don't know if we could call this a conversation, a dialogue, or was more a type of interrogation. Then Pilate asked Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus replied, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my people wouldn't have fought to prevent my falling into the hands of the Jews. But my kingdom is not here." And then the conversation continued. And then Pilate said, "Then you are a king." And Jesus replied, "You have said it. I am a king. I was not born, nor did I come into this world except to bear witness to the truth. Whoever belongs to the truth hears my voice." And then when we think about this conversation, dialogue, or interrogation, the way that you prefer to define this interaction between Plato and Jesus, so what that is, so what Jesus is referring to, what the meaning behind my kingdom is not from this world. And when you think about that, and if you start to analyze and reflect about what probably Jesus meant by my kingdom of this world, he's implying that there's a future life. He's referring to the spiritual life. It's important to have that in mind. So when Jesus brings this new concept of a future life, because they quite do not believe in the future life in that time, if they do believe, they don't have an idea how that works after you discarnate or you die. Uh, so then, what about the future life? So, as I told you before, Jesus introduced to people a new concept of life, the future life. And that future life is the focal point of Christ's teachings and maxims. If you look at and read the Bible or the gospel according to Spiritism, you're gonna start get the nuances that Jesus start pointed out for a future life that recompenses how we're supposed to be living this life to be able to succeed on the next life, the future life. So maybe some of the comments that Jesus made was about heaven. What heaven really means in that is not a physical location. So heaven is a place where you find love and peace. So what's happening when you have that idea of future life? So you start to understand more clearly the earth, the social life discrepancy, and you start to connect the dots to justify the anomalies of life that we live on earth. And then we start to connect with God justice. So there are some times that in the past we believe that if I did a lot of wrongdoings over time, and my last breath, then I just say, well, forgive me, and then all your sins are forgiven. So then it's not quite simple that way. You'll be very simplistic and basically not fair. So then we start to show some inconsistency how God will treat their children. So then we have to be careful and analyze with a very reasonable mind what Jesus is trying to tell us, how we connect future life with justice. So, a few examples that we can use to explain the justice of God, it will be, for example, a law of cause and consequences. So everything that we do has a cause and also has a consequence, has an effect. There is a cause, and every effect has a cause, and every cause has an effect. For example, if I treat someone badly, so there is a consequence, and I have to repair that mistake. And if you analyze that, we are educating kids on our relationships. So when we make a mistake, we apologize, try to fix it. If we humans are already that way, so can you imagine a higher power, a power that we cannot even understand, like God? So why God would be not just, not fair? Another example is law of progress. So law of love. So then we start to have these concepts together which help us to explain why Jesus brings the idea of the future life. So, however, those who do not believe in the future life imagine that Jesus is speaking only about the present life, either do not understand his teachings or find them vague. And that's very common to happen. If you think just one life, just this life, just now, just this moment, is really hard to understand what Jesus was trying to say. Because most of the talk is related to future. And what's the best thing that, if with that idea in mind, so we have a future, so you have to move ourselves towards the future. So therefore, the right path for humankind is towards the future life. So that's natural. So we have to live this life preparing ourselves to the spiritual life, the real life. So this life here is transitory, it will end, but our spirits are immortal and will continue. And because we believe in reincarnation, we believe that we use another body that gonna fit the purpose, what we need to learn, and then we move on, life after life, towards perfection. And we need to start preparing now. So, with that being said, we need to start investing in permanent acquisitions, moral values, and virtues: charity, kindness, love, friendship. So, things that bring us a moral evolution. And then you have to stop focus too much on the temporary possessions, what we call materialism. So this excessive desire to have, so to buy, because those will vanish after our discarnation or our physical death. So we should not focus too much on those. We should live our current earth life not as the only life, not as our last chance, now or never, heaven or hell. So we don't need to live this. So what is it the really goal of our life, if you ask this question? So I would tell you, maybe self-improvement. What we do is change ourselves, and then be the change you want to see in the world. Because if we change, thinking about the future life, if we have this understanding, we can start focus on our moral values, our moral evolution, and then humanity is going to grow as a civilization. So imagine, we commented in the previous weeks about the 10 commandments when Moses brings the 10 commandments. If you read them, if we follow the 10 commandments, earth will be a much yourself, the world will be a much better place to be. So that's why we need to think of checked of people's main concerns while on earth. We should focus on improve ourselves, self-enlightenment. So then we get better. Then we can make humanity better. Then we move forward on the evolution scale. Another interesting point that you can ask me, why they have so much different interpretations of Jesus' teachings. And this starts when the Jews had precise ideas about the future life. So the Jews that time, they do not quite understand life, the future. And they thought, they have two main thoughts that time, that observing God's law was rewarded with earthly possessions, was about power and having. It's a material possession. So you could see that clearly with the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So you have those power, you have the money, you own things, your houses, cars. Not that time, there is no cars, but that's how they believe that. And then they have this think as well. If you have a public calamities or defeats, those are punishments due to disobedience. So it's God punishing them because they didn't follow God's rule. And this is how they taught people that time. And now it's easy to understand because they didn't like Jesus much that time, because Jesus came to bring a totally different idea. What's important to think is here Jesus come and have a different message than the previous one. So the two main messages, that future life is about if you have possessions, so materialism. So the second one was more towards if something bad happened to you, is God punishing you because you're not obedient. So then Jesus came that time, and he needs to change the mindset of the time. So he adapt his teachings so people would understand what he's trying to say. And remember, Jesus could not reveal everything due to the limitation of the people that time. And a quick example, analogy that I can make, think about if you're gonna teach your kids math. So if you're teaching math to your 5-year-old, you're gonna teach totally different if your kid is now not kid anymore, but a student at university level. So then you cannot talk to them at the same level. So that's what Jesus was so high, so much more involved than us. He needs to adapt the language to the level of that time. So, and Jesus starts showing a future life, a principle, as a law of nature. Simple like that. So you have this life, then you're gonna have a future life, then you're gonna discarnate, then you're gonna have the consequences of your actions. But so God's so just and so good, they're gonna have new opportunities. And if you read if the Bible or the Gospel according to Spiritism, you're gonna notice, especially in the Bible, that's not clear. Jesus have some points that they pointed out some concepts of reincarnation. So Jesus at that time that recompense for the observance of God's laws were not material. So now, can you imagine the impact on the Jewish community, holding the power when Jesus comes? Here, what you see means nothing in the future life. So what really matters is good people recompense. So now this is for a culture of having, for a culture, because to you give, you not take. So this shake really the society that time, and we know the end, how the end. But Jesus came to change the message, change their interpretation of that time. And then Christians really believe in life. If you look at how the Christians believe, I don't think you're gonna find any that believe in future. But the problem is the idea that many hold about it's vague or incomplete and therefore sometimes erroneous on various points. So, what's the issue here? There is a misinterpretation of Jesus' teachings, and there are a lot of examples that you can notice in different Christian beliefs. For example, life is just one. It's this one, and you die, you go to heaven or hell. So this is not what Jesus really meant. So otherwise, if you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell for the eternity. So how fair is that? So you don't have any second chance. We second chance, friends, for our family, for people at our work. Why not gonna give a second chance or even a chance? How many chances do you give to your kids? To someone that you love? So we have to think logically about that. So another example is build eternity. So they stay as a sleeping stage until Jesus come back. So this is a misunderstanding of the teachings. So another ones believe that when you die, you're gonna sit in a throne. So then you're gonna hear a sound, and then if you are selected, so you'll be adoring and praising God for eternity. Doing what specifically? So, and those become a problem because the question, what are the consequences of such beliefs? On the other hand, for many, the future life is a belief without absolute certainty, or even a point of doubt or disbelief. So some people don't believe it's just this life and that's it. Then the question becomes what the motivation of this belief to make you a better person? What will happen with people that doesn't understand future life if they are depressed, if they have anxiety, depression? Are we not moving those to likelihood to commit to have thoughts that are not helpful, and then maybe they decide to take their lives because they think the suffer is gonna end? Because if this is the own life that I have and I'm suffering a lot, if I take my life, the pain go away. And the logic on that reasoning makes sense if you don't believe in a future life. But if you do believe in future life, you're gonna think twice. Wait a minute, if I do that, what the consequences would be. And that's why the belief of future life can protect us for a lot of problems in our future. So, how about Spiritism in the future life? Spiritism has come to complete the teachings of Christ. So, Spiritism came to fulfill the teachings and the gaps, the explanations that we could not understand at time, just could not review because we are not evolved enough. Now we are in the position that we have a more intellectual ability, we have a better reasoning, we have better resources to using our faith and reason to get to generate the we need to find the answers that we are looking for. With the Spiritism, the future life is no longer a simple article of faith, a hypothesis. So Spiritism is proving that yes, there is life after death. Yes. So, does the spirit survive? Yes, it does. We will live again? Yes. We will find our loved ones again? Yes. So those are very comforting beliefs or known that help us to keep going. It's a material reality demonstrated by facts. Eyewitnesses have come to describe this reality in all its phases and in all its properties. So since Kardec started to codifying the spiritist language, to codifying the spirit's teachings, we've been receiving more and more information from the spirits to show what life is after we discarnate. And we have several spirits around the globe that is teaching us about this. So, with the spiritism, the future life becomes a reality. So now it's not about believing in the future life. It's about knowing that future life exists. And if we know, doubt is no longer possible. So when you believe, you can disbelieve. So people can prove that and you can change your mind. But when you know, you don't change your mind because you don't have any questions anymore. You know. And when you know, you cannot unknow. How to prove it? So you can ask me how to prove it that life exists. So if we keep studying, you're going to see that spirits bring us a lot of information about life after death. And why spirits? Because the spirits are the other side. They are the eyewitness of the future life. They understand what's going on. They tell us this is what happened in the other side. And that's how you should be preparing yourselves to be able to succeed and be more efficient with your life, current life. And they describe the conditions for their happy or unhappy existence. So they serve as a model because you're going to find in the spiritist literature several stories of successful life and also unhappy choices, unhappy lives and choices. And then they start teaching us what really counts, what really matters on the other side. And trust me, it's not material possessions. The true justice of God is contained in the future life. And that's so beautiful because then you explain all the experiences that we live as a human. So just compare Earth like a school. You are in a school, and as you grow, you go to the next year, and the next year, and you go to middle school, high school, university, then you have your job. So it's a sequence of progression. So life on earth is always like that. It's a school of the soul. The soul learns how to progress. Our experiences are given to us as a gift, as a chance for us to progress. And that's why we need to take this opportunity and start to live our future life now. Let's start to do the best that we can to progress, to become better people, to become better friends, to become better family members, to become better co-workers, to become better helpers. Think about others, be kind, be good, and continue our evolution towards the future life. thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm open for questions.
Oh. Sorry, there is a delay
Hello,
in my
hello.
connection. Just now I can talk. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for your presentation, Rodrigo. It was really, really nice and good to know a little bit more about the future life. Um, I put a question for you in the chat, and um, I would like to know if, because we always say that everything we do today, we are be responsible tomorrow. So we will always reap in the future what we saw today.
Just a second, Marceli. I'm having problem with my audio.
Okay, no worries.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do. I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Second. If I understood well, your question is if we reap what we sow.
Yes.
So,
Always.
Always.
Always. Okay. And people, if someone is in his or her life, this person is doing a lot of bad things and they just passed away, what's gonna be?
So what's gonna happen? They're gonna face their own conscience on the
Uh-huh.
other side, and they're gonna
Mhm.
realize what they did, and they're gonna ask for another chance to come and try to make up for the waste of the time and the things that they could done better. So
Mhm.
then they're gonna receive a chance. Anyone receives chances, and it's not only a second chance. There's second
Mhm.
chance, third chance, fourth chance, as many chance as we need until we approach and get closer to God.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
God doesn't give up on us,
yeah.
but we have this cause and effect.
Uh-huh.
Everything that you do will return to you
Yes.
on the
So
good way or the bad way.
okay. Yeah, so as I put in the chat, it's really important to us to do good things today, just to ensure that we are gonna have a good life, a good future life. Uh, I mean, here in this life or the next one, right?
Yeah, you don't need to wait for tomorrow, right?
Of
So if you
course.
realize that maybe that's not the way to go,
Mhm.
so even changing this life is gonna give you a lot of credits, let's say
Yeah,
this way,
bonus.
on your future life. So this life is an investment for the
Yeah.
future life.
Uh-huh.
So if you do a good investment, you're
Uh-huh.
gonna have a good return. If
Mhm.
you do a bad investment, then you realize that the investment is bad and you start to move to the good investment.
Mhm.
So you still have the benefits.
True.
However, the things that you didn't do well, you have to be responsible for.
Yeah, I like it when you talking about the things that we can do to be a better person now, like the charity, about our friendships, um, helping each other. So yeah, a lot of things we can do. Because we think when we think in charity, most of the part we think that about money, right? And there's no only money, right?
Yeah.
It's not only about money.
as a spiritist, we understand that there is this what we call material charity. That's money, clothing,
Mm-hmm.
um, accessories, those things, and also there is spiritual charity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you pray for someone.
You give your time
So
to
time,
listen. Mm-hmm.
you listen, not
Yes.
active listening.
Yes.
So not pretending they are listening. So those are quite as as important as
Yeah.
the material one. So, for example, sometimes we think in North America we don't have material needs, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
But the spiritual need is enormous.
Yes.
People need this counsel to bring them peace,
Mm-hmm.
bring peace of mind, understand that life goes on. You have a choice. If you made a mistake, you can come to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to a person another day that imagine a mother that the the kid died by
Mm-hmm.
by suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine how happy is this mother to understand that that's that person who gonna have another chance,
Yeah.
and they're gonna see each other again, and
Mm-hmm.
she'll be able to help in this evolution. So how much comfort did this can bring to a person that lose a loved one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you so much, Rodrigo. It was really important. Everything you brought for us, and we have learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you too. And thank you for your participation in the chat. And now we will move to the preparation of the tonight's spiritual treatment. Pass is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with health positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from the passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that you and your family can benefit from. So we will now make a prayer for the preparations for the pass. Master Jesus, we thank you so much for the learning today, the teachings today. Thank you so much for the opportunity to know a little bit more about your example, about your doctrine. We ask you now for you and the good spirits to magnetize our waters and replace our energy, and may we can feel better after the pass, and please help us with our inner necessities today and always. So be it.
Let's prepare ourselves now for the moment of the passes and the blessing of our water. Place by your side a container with clean water to be blessed and magnetized. Dear brothers and sisters, no matter where you are in this moment, what difficulties you're facing, Jesus is always ready to come to our help. Place yourself now in a comfortable position, one that facilitates concentration and receptivity. Breathe slowly and calmly. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Fill your lungs with air and release slowly. Let the energy of tranquility and peace penetrate your lungs and circulate throughout your body. Your soul, in harmony with your body, feels peaceful and at peace. Let us think now about the passage of Jesus among us. In a beautiful and clear day, the golden rays of the sun illuminating the joyful landscape. Multicolored flowers, bouncing, chirping birds fill the landscape with optimism. The news of the cures brought a crowd of needy people around Jesus. Suddenly, Jesus appears, calm and serene. His white tunic is light and long all the way up to his feet. At the sunset, all those who were sick and affected by different diseases were brought to him, and Jesus, laying his hand on each one, healed them, as narrated in the Gospel of Luke. Let's mentalize now Jesus approaching us in this moment, placing his friendly hands on top of your head. Feel the presence of this Divine Master right with you, feeling like a waterfall of pure and crystalline waters start to fall from his hands, coming from his love to bathe you, falling on your head, streaming down your shoulders, bathing your whole entire being, bringing you peace, serenity, and balance, cleaning all impurities and pacifying yourself. Feel these waters bathing you, cleansing, and purifying. Breathe. Now think of Jesus as a sun right before you, his light, his warmth, embracing you, enveloping you. Feel the healing emerging, emanating from Christ towards you. He hears your prayers. Trust him. His love is infinite. He is always by your side, protecting, offering everything you need. Trust him. Feel and absorb all these magnificent healing energies coming from Jesus in this moment. His light surrounds and embraces you. Feel these energies running throughout your body. Feel yourself re-energized, strengthened, and at peace. Dear Lord Jesus, our divine friend, extend your generous hands, Lord, and transform these waters into remedies for our physical and spiritual ailments. Hold us, Jesus, in your peace. Extend your vibrations of love for the benefit of my home, dear Lord. May peace, health, tranquility reign here with my family. We give thanks to you, Jesus, and pray that you stay with us today and always. Thank you, God.
I'm so sorry. We had another delay here. I think it's my connection. So now we are before doing our closing prayer. I would like to thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. East. And now I invite you to join in the closing prayer. Lord Jesus, we thank you once again for the opportunity to learn, to know more about life, about your example, and about what we have to do now to ensure we are going to have a good life in the future. So we ask you and the good spirits to protect us with all the things we need. We ask you to protect the people who are in the hospital now, in the prison, and all the humanity. We also ask you to protect our night, and may we have a good night and good sleep. And please be with us today and always. So be it. Have a good night, everyone.
Semine, wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the scars of